Welcome to The Impossible, where we empower others to face the impossible, inspire them to be impossible, and motivate them to do the impossible. And we're fortunate on this show to have a lot of guests that have faced extreme challenge in their life, extreme adversity, and we've been blessed to learn from their lessons that they've gained in overcoming those challenges. But every now and then we encounter somebody who truly helps set the standard and redefine what we do from both athletic performance and day-to-day life. And recently we had the honor of competing with some para-division athletes at Monsters Bent Barbell in the USPC para-division. And one of those athletes has come out and crushed some heavy weights. He's adapted to some pretty extreme challenges, and he's been able to really affect some people online in a very positive, motivating, and powerful way. And we're honored to have him here with us today. We've got Mr. Jeff Maynard on the podcast. Jeff, thank you for coming out.
Oh, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. So take us back, man. I want to give everybody a chance to kind of understand where you've come from, what your path's been in life, and how you got to where you are today, where you're crushing everything you're doing. Because I know you're a power lifter, you've been doing some running, you're also getting pretty high up in the adaptive soccer world as well. Yes. I know you got a game later today. So we want to dive into all that stuff, but take us back. How did you end up getting to where you are today?
I was a lineman for AEP Power Company and got electrocuted June of 2008.
Okay.
And then I went through depression for about 14 years. Sit around, gained about 235 pounds. I was just wanting to die. My kids were over 18, so I was like, my kids are grown. I could go ahead and die. And then something clicked in me. I started working out. I lost 68 pounds. And then last May, I started lifting weights.
Okay. And so you were a lineman. This was 2008, and you were just basically a normal, everyday, hardworking guy. You had a family built and everything, and you have just a work accident one day. Was there anything specific that caused the accident, or just one of those freak
I have no
things?
clue. I remember it was a nice day, and then I remember the helicopter ride that day. I don't remember nothing else.
Okay. And so you got electrocuted and rushed to the hospital.
Yeah, and life-flighted to OSU.
Okay. What was it like, those first moments where you first wake up and you're trying to figure out what's going on here?
I remember seeing all my fingers were missing on my left hand, and my arms were blackened up to the elbows, crispy. And the other hand had a kid making a gun, and the other fingers were missing on it. And then my biceps kept swelling, and they had to cut me to the bone to release or all the way down around to release pressure, because it was as big as my thighs. And then they took the arms. I remember telling them to take these burnt arms off me. That's all I could. I remember seeing them take these off me. Yeah. And then 3 days later, I woke up. I went septic over the weekend. I got hurt on a Friday. Went septic. They did emergency surgery on Sunday. I woke up Monday and was up walking. So
that's wild. So you were, for anybody just listening and not on the video here, Jeff is missing both of his arms at the shoulder, and he still functions incredibly in day-to-day life, and is a very strong, powerful athlete as well.
Yes, sir.
And so this is where everything started. So you went septic as well during this time.
Yes, sir.
And battled some bad infection.
Electrocution poisons your bloodstream, so I had to have multiple transfusions.
Okay.
So
was it sepsis from it wasn't from
all the injury, the trauma and all that, and
so
all
it wasn't
the
even
bacteria.
Necessarily an infection.
No, it's just it poisons your bloodstream.
Okay,
and
wow.
It was pretty. They was in there reading my last rites, and I ran the priest down. I said, "Look, if I'm dying, send my wife and kids back in here. Get out of here. I'm not into all that." I said, "If I'm going, I want to see my wife and kids. That's it."
Yeah.
I didn't want to see anyone else.
Yeah. So you've been a fighter for a long time.
Oh yeah, I had to.
Yeah, absolutely. So even before this accident, would you still had the same kind of spirit, the same kind of fight and drive?
A little bit more anger in me.
Okay.
I was a problem child. I still got in fights. I've been in 3 since I got hurt, and that was at the beginning because I was just so angry. Yeah. And let what other people say or their actions affect me. I'm done with that. When you take control of your own mind and you just stop caring what other people think, you got a freedom, and they can't take the freedom from you, and they can't take what work you put in and what you've accomplished. So that's what I'm out here to do. Show people, look, just because we're missing stuff or we're not the same, we don't do it the same, we could be just as strong or stronger than most of you guys. And I would just like to show, hey, don't ever count someone out. Whatever sport you want me to try, send it to me. I will try.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love that you're always chasing new things, and I love that you're always, attacking new challenges. That's kind of like, it seems to be like your default mode. Like you just attack everything head on.
It's a fear of not living. I'm scared to go back to depression and sit there and not live. I've done that long enough. I am going to live to the fullest every day and try to bring people up and push other people to believe they can do this. Because if I can, anyone can. I'm not a big guy. I'm 5'8", 5'9", 170 pounds. Anyone can do this. You have to have the mindset.
Yeah. Love it, man. So going back to the accident there, was it pretty much immediate after the initial shock? Like once they figured out what was going on, they got you stable, they knew you were going to like make it through physically anyway. Was that depression pretty immediate, something you were battling, or was it something that kind of sank in later as you tried to get back in?
I coached for another 4 years of wrestling after I got hurt, and then my kids were in high school and about to graduate and stuff, so I wanted to sit back and watch them wrestle and enjoy instead of have to coach. And that's when the depression really sunk, because I was sitting around doing nothing. If I wasn't at the sporting event with the kids, I did nothing. And miserable. I had arthritis in the back, the hips, the knees, and ankles, and I hurt every day. So I finally got it up and was like, well, I hurt sitting on the couch every day. I might as well get up and do something with this pain, turn it into something else. Yeah. And that's what I'm doing.
Was there anything particular at all you think might have triggered that change in you, or was it just like
I seen a
click
picture
one day?
The wife took a picture of me getting into the shower from behind. And I was disgusted with myself. I wouldn't look in my mirror for years because I was just disgusted by seeing this armless guy. I felt worthless, felt useless, couldn't get out and get a job. No. And it was rough, but it's all good. It makes you, you have these stories and these challenges you go through, and it builds you. They think because you lose something, you're weak. I'm beginning to see I've lost my arms, and I wanted to get a double arm transplant. I don't want it no more. I have a superpower. Losing my arms gave me the strength I've never, ever had in myself. So they can't take that. So that's the case. You can have everything in the world you want. You can lose everything in the world you have. They can't take what you've built inside yourself and what you've seen and your mentality. So...
Absolutely. That's actually the message we try to give to kids battling cancer, because we work a lot with pediatric cancer, and when these kids come out of that, and I was the same way when I came out of it, it's like you feel broken, you feel beaten, like even if your body's still intact, like emotionally and spiritually, mentally, you are not even remotely intact. And so what we keep trying to show and demonstrate to these kids through things like what we did yesterday, we were honored to have you join us for that. We try to show them that look how much strength you've gained from this. Like you've battled, like, yes, you feel broken, but you got to realize the battle that you just went through and won, most people can't handle that, So when I think it's a very similar situation to like what you described, like when you're faced every day with the challenge of surviving and thriving in a world that is not built for you, like it changes your whole approach to everything.
It does.
And you have, like, by default, you almost become strong, or you just kind of give in to the world around you. And it sounds like it was a moment of facing the reality of what was there, seeing that picture that your wife took. Like, sometimes I think we follow some people that talk about truth.
Yes.
They say truth can be an incredibly powerful thing.
It is.
Because truth is truth is truth. We all see the world a little bit differently, but when you're forced to confront certain realities that maybe you've tried to avoid for a while, and you're faced with that, and there's no way of escaping it, no way around it, then, one of two things could happen. You could either try to deny it and keep living in this kind of alternate reality.
Fake it
built
till
for
you make
yourself. Yeah, exactly. Or you could accept it and say, okay, this is what it is. This is the reality. This is the truth. I'm not happy with this person I see in the mirror.
That's right.
The cool part about that, as hard as that can be to face and hard as it can be to accept, when you do accept it, when you do face it, you actually gain an incredible amount of power from it, because all of a sudden you now have the ability and the power to change it.
Yes, sir.
And to create whatever it is you do want, create whatever reality you want for yourself.
That's
it sounds
correct.
like you've done just that.
Oh, that's what I'm doing. I'm still trying to achieve more. I don't know which direction I could go with all this, but there's nothing I don't want to try.
Yeah. So the accident was in 2008, just to get kind of a timeline here. When was it that you had this turn in your life, this changing point?
2 years ago, July
Really?
the 8th, exactly. I moved into a camper in my brother's yard 2 years ago. Sold my house, bought property across the street from him, and living in the camper. And you have to use the bathroom. We don't have water hooked up out there. We just go inside for bath. So during that time, right when I moved over there, I started working out. Started losing weight. Never lifted. I just lost weight. And I got down 6 to 8 pounds. And they all thought I looked sickly. So I decided to go to the gym. And they asked what I was coming to the gym for. I was like to show people what 50 should look like. I never planned on being no power lifter. That's all my trainer, Terry. he got me into that. He's like, maybe you should try this. So he did, and I did. I like it. It's fun.
Yeah. It always blows my mind how many people in powerlifting, we all kind of have this, because powerlifting is a pretty extreme sport. Just like endurance running, like it's not for people who are not very extreme.
Big injuries and stuff that come with this kind of stuff.
Yeah. So it always blows my mind, like how many people have that similar type of background from like many different angles, many different perspectives, but all of us seem to have some kind of past, something we're fighting, something we're striving for, striving against. And we all have, it seems like something kind of to prove within ourselves. And I think that's actually a pretty powerful thing about the sport.
Yes, sir.
When you first got into, so I know you're lifting for a while, when you first got into working with Terry and into doing some powerlifting, what were some of those first moments? What did they feel like to just find this? You knew you had this emotional, mental, spiritual strength.
Yes.
What was it like to kind of discover and bring out this physical strength?
Oh, it was amazing. I went in there thinking I was going to use 3 or 4 different machines and maybe the leg press. And I started working out, and he's like, I think we could get you squatting and deadlifting. So as soon as we transitioned to that, I said by December I had a 505 deadlift and a 500-pound squat on the Smith's machine. So I was like, I tried the safety bar and it wasn't working. When I come up, it wanted to pull me forward because I don't have the arms. So then I started looking online and seeing, is there a bar you can lift without arms? And I found the spider bar. And once I get one of those and get used to it, I think I'll have my numbers back up. But until I get used to my balance and all that, I'm working on it every day. I will get better every day. I'm not going backwards.
Heck yeah. I love it, man. And you crushed it on that spider bar. I know we trained with it together up at that gym at the Arnold Classic.
Well, 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah. You were crushing it that day. It was like 300 pounds and you were repping until basically you fell over.
I did fall over on the one, didn't I? Then I went and did 365.
Yeah.
That was the highest I got on the floor ever. I was like, damn, that was nice.
Yeah,
nice
that was
feel.
awesome, man. And then what kind of numbers, because you were able then to come out and compete at the powerlifting meet, and I know you'd been working on some deadlifting as well. You came out to squat and deadlift at the powerlifting meet here for USPC Para Division.
Yes, sir.
What did you end up throwing up on squat for that event?
325? 335.
335.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
That's awesome, man. That's over double body weight for you too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd have
Close.
365, but I think they pulled him a little early because it looked like he was losing balance.
Oh, I see.
I probably wouldn't have counted. I would have stepped or something, I think.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did. It's all right.
Yeah,
I ain't worried. There's another competition.
Oh, yeah. We always got
the next
more.
time, you know.
We always got more competitions coming up.
You fall, you get back up.
Yeah.
You go out there, you perform, you see what you done wrong, and you go back to the gym and you work on it. Hopefully you don't do it again. And sometimes you're a glutton for punishment and you do the same thing over and over until it just beat it into your head. But it's easier just to stop and take time and check it out, see how you have to attack it, And like for me, my stance coming off the Smith's machine to the floor, my stance had changed because with no arms, my balance is different. So I had to change up my whole stance and all that. And it's different, but it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And those are some pretty big numbers to put up for your first competition, especially, you know,
Yeah.
like even like not even saying like with, you know, missing arms or anything like that. Like those are some pretty impressive numbers right there. Cause you haven't been powerlifting all that long, have you?
Since May. So
Yeah.
it's been a year.
Yeah. Just about a year now. That's awesome, dude. And what was
Lifting
really,
period
yeah.
in the last year. That's it.
Yeah.
I didn't lift weights.
Yeah. And what was really cool to see, I think, was your deadlift as well. Like you put up some massive numbers on deadlift. And I know a big piece that came through on that was really, really cool. And this is what's so great about, you know, we hear about the horrors of social media a lot, but there's also a lot of good that can come out of it. And one of the crazy good things is I had posted a video of you training chest with bands on that machine. I think Terry had worked up a good system for you. And it got a decent amount of views on it, but there was a guy down in, I think he's based out of North or South Carolina. It's Ripped by Rosenblatt is his name. Jason Rosenblatt's the guy's name. And he creates a lot of different like adaptive training systems for people battling injuries or all sorts of different things. He allows you to lift in different ways that sometimes could allow you to work through injuries or just stay safer sometimes during lifts. But he's got a lot of great products. But one thing he had a harness that you could use to squat or deadlift with. And it was basically like the perfect thing for what we knew you needed. Because I know we were going to like work with my prosthetist, or we were going to try to find some way to get you something. I know Terry had put together some, yeah, but I mean, it worked, you know, it worked. But this was just like the perfect harness for you to use. And he reached out to me and was like, hey, can I send you one of these? And I wasn't sure on it, honestly. I thought it might have been a little, because you get scams and stuff online sometimes. But I was like, sure, man, we'll check it out. He sends it, he overnights it. It's on my doorstep the next day. I pull it out of there, and it is just the most perfect thing, like seatbelt material. It had mostly metal clasps and clips on it. I know now he's made an upgraded version.
All metal.
Yeah.
It's heavy duty.
He sent me one of those. His harness are amazing.
That's
I mean,
incredible.
He contacted us and said, FYI, we had a failure at 500 pounds with the harness you got. I got a heavy duty one. I'm going to send you out. And then he's like, it's good for up to 750 pounds. I was like, oh, okay, we can work that. He's like, and if we need a bigger one, I'll make a bigger one.
Challenge accepted.
So I was like, yeah, that's fine. I said, that's 750. That's probably more than I think I want to do anyways. On this little body, yeah.
That's a lot of weight
6
right there,
maybe,
man.
but
Yeah.
I ain't looking
Yeah.
for 7s.
Yeah. Hey, we always say that now, you know.
I know, till you get to there and you're like, man, I want to go a little
Once you
higher.
hit 600 pounds, we'll have a different talk.
I am getting older, though, man. I'm about to be 50 in August. So, yeah, I have to get a little wiser.
Yeah,
I mean,
oh yeah.
And waste less energy doing and explaining and stuff. And just you have to be cold. You have to be precise with people. And I found out, like my wife has been saying, you're changing. You've changed. I have changed. My mindset has changed. I'm not depressed no more. I have a drive in me. I can't stop. I don't know where I'm going with all this, but I know I can help people. And I know that people will stop thinking that if you have no arms, you can't do nothing. Or you missing a leg, you can't. They should never underestimate us. Because like we said, it is a superpower. Because if you got the drive and determination to get up off the couch and start moving, there's nothing you can't do, but you have to want it.
And that's the message we try to spread to everybody, honestly, because I don't care who you are, whether you've got a physical disability or not. We've all got something we're battling in life, you know, and some people's may be bigger than others, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because we've all only ever experienced the worst thing we've ever experienced. You know, pain is relative, suffering's relative, you know, so we've all got something in our lives.
Embrace the pain.
We're battling.
That's what you got to do.
So
You
like
start
what
loving the
say.
pain. I'll
Yeah.
start hurting, and I'll just flex real hard. Like my back, I pulled a week and a half ago, deadlifting, and it hurts constantly. And I'll just flex real hard for like 30 seconds, and it'll go away for like 30, 45 minutes. Then it'll come back, and I'll start flexing again, and it'll go away. So you find it getting older and finding out little tweaks and stuff that you hurt yourself. You got to figure out how to fix yourself as quick as possible. You can't stop training. before, when I first started this, I hurt myself. I stopped training for a week or a week and a half till I start feeling better. No, there's no more stopping. If I plan on, I train in 7 days a week, I'm going to train 7 days a week. I don't care what's going on. I go out and walk. If it's raining, it's snowing, I'm going to walk because I done told myself I'm going out here for this walk. And that's how it has to be.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. You have to take that challenge, embrace it, and actually flip it on its head and use it as an advantage. And it becomes an advantage when it becomes a motivating, powerful, forward driving force.
Yes, sir.
That's what we try to use here all the time. You know, I had several moments where I was running yesterday, and I was in a lot of pain. But like you say, you get to a point where the pain feels good. Not that you become like addicted to the pain necessarily in like a negative way, but it becomes something that you feel like you earn and you have the ability to experience. Because I'm sure you remember, and I know Austin, I'm sure remembers, it's like there's days when you're sick and beaten down in the hospital, laying in that bed, that you would give anything to be out there running and earning that pain.
Of course.
You know, so it gives you a new appreciation for those moments when you have it.
Of course, it does. And seeing all the people out there, the kid who battled cancer and been 5 years cancer free, getting to meet him, that was pretty nice. His mom had a nice story.
Yeah, Leo and Natalie have been we've been so fortunate to work with them, as well as so many other people here recently. But their story is just so powerful, and I think it shows, you know, just a true example of like when you have that person in your life that will just fight with you and fight for you like no other, you know, how powerful of a bond that can be, and how much strength it can give you both to go through those experiences together like that.
Yeah. I during all this, getting this training and doing all this, I had to block people out. I have to just stay focused and not go and hang out and not talk to the people, because there's distractions and negativity I don't want to be around anymore. So it's like, it's hard to get out because you're running into a lot of it, but I don't know.
Yeah. So what do you have planned next? Like, what's on your radar for the future? I know you're just kind of driving forward, tackling a lot of different things right now.
I would like a cage fight. Really?
Oh,
yeah. I seen a video 6 months ago of two armless guys fighting, and it was a sanctioned professional fight. And I asked, how do you get winner? And no one responded. But I want to try that kind of stuff. Never did it, but I am good with it.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about getting hurt. I'm not worried about taking hits. It's all good.
Yeah, I've actually got a guy I've been chatting with online. His name's Sam Schaefer, and he's an amputee, kind of like me. He's missing just his leg below the knee, but he just did a sanctioned fight here a few weeks back. I don't think it was. I forget exactly what the martial art was. It might have been MMA, but there was some boxing involved as well. So I don't know all the specifics, but I know he did one. I've seen some amputees fighting more and more and more. He fought another like one-legged guy, and it was kind of interesting because I think they were allowed to kick with their real leg, but they weren't allowed to kick with the prosthetic leg, actually.
Oh, they got to wear it?
I mean, you get kicked in the head with titanium rod, it's going
to kill you.
That puts some liability on the federation, you know, all that kind of stuff that goes into it.
Makes sense.
But yeah, man, that'd be an incredible thing to chase. I know fighting becomes, we've recently gotten to work with some fighters at the local boxing gym, and it's even another, you know, example of a kind of an extreme sport that can draw in a lot of those personalities of people, you know, just constantly fighting for their happiness and for their life and for their strength.
That's right.
Yeah.
I grew up wrestling, and I coached wrestling. I told every kid I coached, just way before I got hurt, I said, if you could go 100% in wrestling every day, you could make it through anything in life, because wrestling is so demanding and so physical on you. You want to quit. It's so easy to quit. You can make 50 million excuses why you don't want to go on, but if you make it through it, you could handle any challenge.
Yeah. Do you face those challenges ever today, where even if it's just like normal day-to-day life stuff that, you know, you feel like you should be able to do and you can't do it? Do you ever face those like frustrations and just that like mindset of just like wanting to throw in the towel, wanting to quit, wanting to give up?
Yeah, I did more in the past, not more recently. I mean, there's things I get frustrated with I can't do, but I just don't let it bother me. Really, I'm like, what can I do? I could sit here and be upset and let that control me, be controlled by my emotions and all that, or I could just like, all right, well, I can't do it. Oh well. So that's where I'm at now. I don't care what I can and can't do. I will try whatever they will allow me to, or whatever they want to see.
Oh, absolutely, man. And that's a powerful perspective, because it's something we talk about a lot. You know, a lot of the people we work with have lost some severe things in their life, you know, whatever it may be. And there's always that perspective of like, it's easy to like sit and look at yourself in comparison to other people and see everything that you've lost. But you can also turn that around and look at everything you still have, or everything you've gained.
Still alive today.
Yeah.
Live for today. Tomorrow's not promised. You had cancer, you know that. I mean, cancer is, it don't care your age, your sex, your race, none of that matters. Cancer is a monster, and you got to fight it, and you got to have the will to fight and get through it, because there's a lot of people give up the fight because it's just so hard. Mm-hmm. And I just lost my first kid's mom last week to cancer. She was only like 47. So yeah, it was a little different. I didn't know how to feel about it, you know. It wasn't a wife or anything. It was from high school, freshman year. But it bothered me that, you know, she was always healthy, always still working out and all that, and something like cancer come along and just take you away. So a little, that's more reason I wanted to run a little bit yesterday.
Yeah.
Just to honor the kid's mom.
We appreciate that, man. We're honored to have you out there joining us and being a part of what we do. Not only just yesterday, but for the powerlifting competition and up at the Arnold and everything else as well, because you're somebody that people really gravitate toward. Yes, and I think people look at you and they can see that you're facing extreme challenge, you know. And I think we have this, as humans, we have this just extreme interest and inherent respect for people who are overcoming and who are just succeeding and thriving in the face of what we would call the impossible.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
We have this inner fascination for that. And so it's awesome that you have the mindset that you do to be able to tackle these challenges every single day.
Yes, sir.
And it's by default going to help people, because people look at you and they say, man, if he can do that,
I can do it.
Like, what can I do?
That's what I tell them. What's your excuse? There's no excuses. What's your excuse? I can make 10 million excuses how to get out of anything. It's way easier just to do it and do it right. Don't half-ass it or stuff like that, because then you're going to have to go back, whether you're working on your body, you take shortcuts or you cheat yourself, it'll show. Other people might not see it, but you know it. So, yeah, you got to, when you're in the dark, you need to work hard, because what you do in the dark does come to light.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And it's kind of just something that you have to weave into the fabric of your approach to day-to-day life and in everything you do. There's that old saying, I don't know if it came from some part of the military. Anyway, the saying is that, like, how you do anything is how you do everything.
That's right.
You know? And I know that it's become very apparent that you attack everything with the same forward mentality.
I let mental health control me too much, and I didn't always put all my effort. Like in sports in high school, I was always good, but I didn't give 100%. I didn't feel like I needed to, and it was stupid. It was being foolish and bullheaded, but it took me a while to realize, you know what, you can do whatever you want. They can't stop you. So I am very confident in myself, because I know what kind of work I put in, and I'll stand behind whatever I do.
Yeah. So for anybody out there today that's maybe battling mental health issues, they feel like they have no direction, no purpose, no place in life, what advice would you give them of how can they take that first step forward toward escaping that?
Don't be afraid to talk about it. You can't. You're messed up in the head, and mostly guys. We're taught we're supposed to be strong, and ain't supposed to be weak. You ain't supposed to cry. You ain't supposed to. Shit. You need to cry. You ain't always strong. There's times you're weak, but you don't want the people to see the weakness. So you just learn to, when it gets tough, you just get tougher, and fight the days every day, like it's your last. And that's how I make it through life. There's no secret. I go to the gym, I work out at home. I do this and that, and It's just putting into effort. You have to put in effort. If you want to do something or you want to succeed at something, you have to put in the time. If you don't put in the time, nothing's given to you. People's getting that confused, like they should be given stuff. No, you shouldn't. I wanted to get, when I got fat, just got signed up and was in the diabetic weight loss program and wanted to have a stomach surgery so I could lose this weight, be cheating. And then I was on the list and kept have to wait. And I was like, man, I'm tired of this. I seen that picture and I started working out. I said, I'm so glad I didn't cheat. I wouldn't be this confident, this proud, and have that much faith in myself if I didn't work it and do it myself. Yeah. So,
and I think beyond that, you have to also kind of learn to fall in love and take your happiness from that process of putting in that daily work to earn and achieve everything that you want. Because if you fall in love with that process, it's not like you're suffering to get to this end point anymore. It's like even though it can be difficult, even though it can be painful, even though it can be hard, you enjoy every second of what you're chasing.
Yes, sir.
That's kind of like what you say. When you live your life in that manner, then every day has the potential to become the perfect day. And at any point that you face death or you face, sickness or anything like that, you can at least go into that happy that you made positive use of your time.
That's right. That's correct. Yeah. I said, that's all people, they just, they come up with excuses why they can't do it. And I don't like the excuses. Just do it. It ain't hard. It's easy to figure out. Life is easy. If you get up and do stuff and push yourself every day, you're going to have something. If you want to sit on the couch and do nothing, I did that. I've been the victim of making excuses why I couldn't do it. Oh, my neuropathy, I can't walk. Oh, my phantom limb pain. I've made so many excuses for so many years, 14 years. And the last 2 years, I've changed that all up. And there's no more excuses. I don't want to hear none. I don't tolerate it because come to me with answers, not problems all the time.
Yeah, I like it. It's kind of like what we were talking about with truth there, where when you're living kind of a lie or you're living this artificial reality, like it can be more work to maintain and uphold and keep that lie going.
That's right.
Than it is to just accept the truth. I think in a similar manner, you could compare that and bring that into looking at excuses like you talk about. I think a lot of cases it's more work to uphold our excuses than to just chase that thing that we actually want to do.
Dude, it's so much better when you're chasing it. I promise. All the excuses I had, and when you reach and you get out there and you doing something for yourself, you feel so empowered. I said, I am freest I've ever been, mentally, physically, and I came from very dark places, and I've dealt with mental health for a long time. And it's empowering when you get that freedom and your mind's clear and free, and you just want to work out. The gym is the sanctuary. I mean, a lot of people, you talk to people, and we have a lot of wounded vets and vets who got hurt and stuff, and I've talked to them, and they were like, "This is how I keep my mental health under control." I said, "Yeah, I see you. I'm here too, doing the same thing, keeping myself under control."
I know that's how we are. I know that's how a lot of people out at Monsters are. We're all, it literally is therapy.
Yes,
that's what Austin Quinn talked about on his episode, and he was in the military, battled PTSD, and ultimately attempted suicide. And fortunately, he's still with us here today and on a much better path, working towards some awesome goals. But for him, he literally, to the point he calls the gym going to therapy. People he works with think he's going to therapy 5 days a week.
I got psychiatrists, psychologists. Yeah. I got both. I mean, I ain't ashamed, dude. I had to change something. I never went to doctors. I never thought I was really as crazy as I was until I sit inside my own head for a while. Yeah. And then you find out how messed up you really are. So I think people need to learn to reach out to people and talk. I mean, talking to people, even if it's a friend or a stranger, who cares? Someone you could just feel like you could unload everything on. You need that person or that release of some sort, whether it's your exercise, talking to people. I know I still need both. I still talk to the doctors, and I do my exercise. So it's an everyday battle when you got mental illness. Yes, it's not fun, but it is what it is. We learn to live with it. We have fun, and we're living this life. That's all I got, man. I don't know what else to tell people. I said, I've been hooked on this Motiversity. They got David Goggins and all these people, and just listening to all their different speeches you start believing it. You start sinking in. You start seeing yourself train harder. You start noticing you're changing. I said it's inspiring and enlightening.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a true statement. Like, you start changing the message in your brain, and I think people get tripped up because it's not like you yourself as an individual person have to start immediately thinking differently and doing everything differently. I think sometimes the first step can just be like what you talk about, like bring in a different message from the outside world. Start listening to podcasts, start reading books or audiobooks, start watching, better stuff on social media, online. Because you can either sit there and you can scroll through 13,000 cat videos a day, or you can scroll through 10 David Goggins videos and then you'll go run 20 miles.
That's all I do. I play Motiversity all day. I'm at the house working out, doing my yoga, doing weightless workouts, weighted vests. But it's so... people's like, oh, I usually had music on, and now I'm having this. The mindset is getting your mind right, and that's what I've learned from hearing these guys talk. And I remember talking to my kids I coached the same way they're talking on the video, but I said it to them, but I never listened to it, didn't listen to myself. But when you hear someone else saying it so many times and so many different people saying the same message just in different ways, they're onto something. And I was this way for 49 years. I am changing. I don't want to be the same person I was. And that never got me nowhere. I mean, yes, I worked hard. I had kids. I took care of my kids. But I still had problems. And mentally I screwed up. Sometimes I do stupid stuff, get in trouble. I just couldn't control it. And now I'm in total control.
Yeah.
That's it. And
that's what's cool is you just start exposing yourself to a different message from the outside world. It's going to start changing that message internally as well. You don't even necessarily have to do any work besides press play on whatever it is you're listening to and change it to something a little better, a little more positive, a little more uplifting. I know that's what initially got me on a better path, is hearing like Jocko and some of the people in Joe Rogan, like Dr. Peterson, different guys like that, just hearing a better message. Mark Bell was a huge one. That was actually the first guy I got
Kobe
into.
was pretty good. Speeches.
Oh man, I love watching his stuff.
Oh yeah,
every time he talks,
he's a stud, man.
I get so fired up.
Die-hard Lakers fan my whole life. So.
Yeah, and it's just so interesting because people see it as such a tragedy that like he died so young and had so much more life theoretically.
Look how many people he touched while he was here. Just that little time he was here, he touched so many and showed so many kids, you can do this. And the Mamba mentality. Yeah. That's it, man. That's it.
That's 100%. And that's why I always tell people is like, but no, like look how beautiful his life was. Like it still is.
And he's still touching these girl basketball players, everyone.
Yeah.
His daughter's out there. I said, it's a good story.
Yeah. And I think when we live our life in that direction with that sort of focus, that sort of commitment and perspective, like failure just gets thrown out the window.
That's right.
Like it doesn't even matter what happens. Like you could miss the lift, you could, not finish the run. Like any of these things could happen. Your body could fail you. You could give out. Whatever could happen. But at the end of the day, it can still be a victory in the lives that you change and the people you touch, the people you affect.
Correct.
And I know that you've got a big dream, a life goal of yours to run an adaptive gym one day. Maybe out in California, maybe.
Definitely.
Who knows?
That's a choice. If I have a choice where I'm going to have one, it would probably be out there.
Yeah. What would it mean to you to be able to step in the doors of your own facility, knowing that you're helping people in the same capacity that you always needed in your darkest times?
It would be amazing to me. Well, I'm so inspired at our local Y where I work out, from the Silver Sneakers, the seniors up there. they come in multiple times a week, and them out there having fun. They've lost spouses or have this or this wrong with them, and they're still out there doing it. And them kind of people inspire me. Then you see a bunch of these young kids, young girls, young guys, teens, and working out, and it's nice to see people taking care of themselves, but and living, because you could get busy living or you could get busy dying. Really is, and that's where I was, and I'm living now.
Yeah.
So anyone could do it. Like I say, if I could do it, it is not impossible. And I'm going to keep showing I could do whatever I feel I need to do or want to do. I'm just not going to be stopped. I don't know how far to take this. I don't know where to go with it. I got so much energy right now. I don't know where I'm going to land or what I really want to do at the end of it. But I know I want to talk to people. I want to become a motivational speaker, which I have to get used to social talking. I'm really rather have less words. If I'm joking around, I could talk all day. But if it gets serious, unless I'm trying to motivate someone, I can't do it. It's just I don't want to talk that much. I just want to do what I got to do and be done. But I do talk. I get in like at our gym, you have a lot of people stop and talk to you. So you can, like you were when we was running yesterday, everyone would come up and talk to you, and it slowed you down, and you had to stop. They wanted to do interviews. They wanted to do this. And I love the support from the Y, but I deal with a lot of that. So I started having to wear headphones, and it's working a little bit, not much.
Yeah, it's always interesting when you get into those moments, and the way I always look at it is like I do all of the training in part so that I can have the right mindset for those moments, because really, like, so much of my training, it started out as just being a cure for my mental health, and now I'm able to shift it and use it as a way. I still use it for that capacity, but now I'm able to shift it and use it for a way to like help inspire and motivate other people and bring them on the same path, show them what they can do. And so it's like now it's like I view that training as when those moments arise that people like want to talk to you or do an interview or something like that, I'm like,
you feel obligated.
This is a moment. Well, not just that. It's like, this is a moment where I can live out this purpose of affecting people's lives in a positive direction.
Yes, sir.
And I needed this so bad when I was in my darkest times, and I have the ability to give this to somebody else right now. And it's like, it's not just a duty or a responsibility at that point. It's just like an honor to be able to do that. And it's not anything remotely special about me. It's like there's so many people that have that capacity, and you're the exact same way. You know, people want to come up and talk to you because you give them hope, you give them inspiration, you give them motivation, just like those videos you watch on Instagram. Yes, like you're doing that exact same thing in real life for other people. Yes, and that's a powerful honor, man. It really is.
Hey, I'm just glad I'm able to get out there and show, not to count people out, and maybe drive the next guy with no arms to come out and beat my it would be so great, because I know how much work I put in to get to my numbers. So the next generation come up and someone says, I could beat his. I hope they do. That means you came out there and you believed in yourself and you worked your butt off. I hope it gets shattered. I don't care about records. None of that matters. I know what I've done and what I can do. The winning and losing, that don't bother me a bit. It's putting in all the effort and giving 110%, and whatever happens, it happens. And I've pretty much been that way my whole life. I never got upset if I won or lost. I practiced hard and I enjoyed playing the game. But if I lost, I lost. Why get upset? That was that game. You're past that. So you learn to dump failures. That's why I was so glad that they posted a video with me face planting on my deadlift, forgetting that I had the weight on me and just letting it go. I want them to see, yes, I fell. Yes. Was it hard? Yeah, it was kind of hard. But I got right back up. Yeah. I went into next week and lifted more than that in a different stance. I was like, man, I don't care. Nothing's going to stop my happiness. If my day starts out crappy, it's upon me to change how my day goes. I could continue and have a crappy day, or I could change my mindset and change how I'm attacking stuff and have a good day. And that's the mindset. If you get your mindset right, you can achieve any goal you set and blow it out the water.
Absolutely, man. And what I love to explain to people about that video, that deadlift video of you where like you fall forward over the bar, most people get there's all kinds of mixed emotions online. I'm sure you've seen.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Just a few people have seen that video now. But what's so cool about it is like when I tell people, and I remember like when I was filming that and I saw you fall over and it's like everybody in the room like went silent and people freaked out, and I was like, he's gonna think this is the funniest thing ever. And I walk up to you and you're like cracking up laughing, laying on the
sitting
floor.
there trying to look at if it counted or not.
Like, did I get those whites?
That's all I cared. I mean, yeah, the landing was hard. I saved my head, but it still rattled the brain for a couple of days.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to do that again, I hope.
Yeah.
More people talk smack about the spotter not getting them.
Oh yeah, that ain't the spotter's fault. What were they going to do?
Oh,
Grab a
poor
170-pound guy
Yeah.
with 400 or some pounds?
Yeah.
You ain't stopping that weight.
Yeah, poor Wade.
Yeah, I said no. I was fine
took
with
it
that.
well.
I mean, I was right there. And
Yeah.
I was like, I watched it happen. I can't block it.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's nothing you can do in that moment.
It was
you know,
all
and-
good, man.
and
It was my first
it was-
powerlifting event, and
Yeah.
it was fun. I got broke. It was awesome.
Yeah,
I'm
in
ready
some
for the
ways it
next
was
one.
just like the perfect ending to a perfect first meet, and we're excited to have you back because you're going to be here in August, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, August Monsters Bent Barbell USPC Para Division. I have not signed up yet, but I know just knowing who I am, I will end up competing, and then we'll be back for December. But man, I appreciate you taking the time to come down here today,
Well,
recording
thanks,
with
sir.
us, and for being with us here yesterday. We're gonna let you. We're gonna wrap this up and let you get after it because I know you got some more impossible you're chasing all day long.
Yes, sir.
Got a big soccer match coming up today.
Adaptive
And-
athletes. I play soccer with them. It's pretty amazing. We played at Ohio Dominican against like the national doctors yesterday, and it was. I never played soccer in my life, and went to 2 practices and then went there, and it was just amazing.
Heck
And
yeah, man.
getting to run again and get to feel the contact from people is. I need that competitiveness. I have to have something to live for, to strive for, or what's use in living.
Yeah.
I got a purpose. I believe I'm on a mission to help a lot of people. I don't know which way I'm going to be able to help them, but I think I'm on to something, and well, we'll see what's coming, what comes up, and what I get to try.
Yeah. As long as you chase that purpose every day, man, like failure will not happen.
No, sir.
And that's what we are always about building here at Impossible Performance. We are striving to build a global culture of strength, fostering a spirit of growth in constant pursuit of the impossible. Jeff, if people want to find you online, where can they find you at?
Maynard 1974 on Instagram and Jeff Maynard for Facebook. I don't know all the social media stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not too great at that stuff.
It's all good,
so
man. We just know people are going to want to start watching your videos.
I'm trying to
hear what you
learn.
got
I'm trying to
say.
get more videos
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard, man.
Yeah. Well, that's where we're doing stuff like this, and we're honored to have you out here. But we can help get your message out. We can help promote it to people because it's so needed out there.
I'm so glad you guys accepted us on your team. You reached out and seen if we wanted to be on your team, and you guys accepted us in, and we lifted. I got to run. I said, I see a lot of good things coming.
Awesome, man. We do too. We're very excited for where this goes and where you're going to take this. We hope to visit you out at your gym someday.
Yes, sir. I hope
That'd
so.
be awesome, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, Austin, brother, you got anything else?
No, we're good.
All right, guys, as always, we ask if you were impacted by this show and you know somebody else you think it could help, whatever they may be battling through, please share this episode with a friend or family member that it will uplift them and help them out in their own challenges they face in life. And if you want to find out more about who we are and what we do at Impossible Performance, you can find us online at www.impossibleperformance.com. We're on YouTube at Impossible Performance. You can see all of our podcasts with full video uploaded there, as well as a lot of different athlete features, and we've got more educational content coming here soon. And if you want to see us in short form on social media, we're at impossible.performance on Instagram and impossible_performance on TikTok. We're also on Twitter and Threads, the same handles. And if you guys have any suggestions, anything you love about the podcast, anything you'd like to see or hear more of, please leave a comment below and subscribe to our show. We read everything ourselves, we respond to everything ourselves, and we take it very seriously because we want to give you guys exactly what you're hoping to get out of the show to help you charge forward and face impossible in your life as much as you can. So take care, guys. Thank you for listening. And as always, be impossible.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, thank you, brother. We appreciate it.
Bye.